Hello, welcome to another Facebook Live art demo. So for those that don't know, we're here at Upbeat Artworks, which is the gallery for Artbeat Studio, which is a nonprofit organization that believes in using art as a tool to work on our mental health. So across the way, we also have Studio Central, where you can do workshops in person, but for those that aren't able to make it there, we have this video for you. So today we're going to be drawing some still lifes. Unfortunately, for all the people that come here often, we don't have Kate today. So pan over to the still life we're working on, and there's a couple special pieces hidden in here. Most of the stuff is from Studio Central, but we have this lovely little T-Rex and the green jar, which are by Artbeat artists Tyler Karst and Christy Brown. So we can do a little bio for them so you know a little bit more.
Okay, so we're going to tell you a little bit about Tyler Karst. He was born in Saskatoon in 1984. In kindergarten and grade 1, he was already making figurines out of any material he could find: poster tack, Play-Doh, and plasticine. As a volunteer in YRAP, an award-winning youth justice committee established in Edmonton under the Youth Criminal Justice Act, he met with youth and victims of crime to establish creative connections, promoting restorative justice, using music and art to express remorse and apology. He says, "I'm meticulous. I like to ensure that my work is done appropriately. Artbeat and Studio Central have offered a creative window that rekindled my artistic motivation after a hiatus of several years. They've given me a sense that I can do this, along with a meaningful connection to the community. Artbeat is a place for socializing, which I'm otherwise slow to do." He adds, "Humor, which helps me relate to others, is important and positive." And Christy Brown describes herself as a quick learner, determined and passionate about music and art. She was born in Vancouver in 1977 to a talented musical and artistic family. At age 8, she began doing pencil drawings. Later, as a teenager, she took pottery classes and made reborn dolls for a while, selling one for as much as $400. Meanwhile, she qualified as a library technician and used her skills to promote library resources. "I have real empathy for others," she says, "but I'm also sensitive to how others treat me. I plan to continue as a library technician, but would also love to become a part-time potter. Art has always been inside me. It adds balance to my life."
Two very talented artists, as you can see by, I'll bring it closer to the camera. This T-Rex is insane, if you ask me. Doing so much detail for pottery. I'm like, I don't want to handle it too much because I don't want to hurt it, but and then this jar is Christy Brown's, which is just adorable. And functional. You can put your trinkets inside.
So pretty.
So we're gonna start off this workshop by, well, we have pencils and erasers, and as well as soft pastels. So, but you can really use any medium you desire. I feel like pencils are just easiest. But I do recommend pushing yourself to use a pen if you use pencil too much, because I had that problem where I would always draw with pencil and I never had any finished drawings because they're all sketchy. So we're gonna start by doing some short, quick exercises to get the hang of like what we're looking at and kind of change how we look at it. So, we can look at this and start drawing it immediately, or we can kind of examine it and do it a couple times first, and then hopefully that means in the end we'll kind of have a better feel for it. So the first thing we're gonna do is I will put on a timer for 2 minutes, and so we just sketch it without too much thinking, just kind of like go freely. And we're all gonna put the exercises all on one page. So there's 3 of them, just for size, and then we'll use a whole page for the final drawing. Okay. Putting on the timer for 2 minutes.
Oops.
Here,
You got 4.
And go. So without putting too much thought into it, just kind of draw what you see. We'll angle it so you can actually see what I'm drawing. I realize. At this point, I'm not paying too much attention to like where things actually line up properly. Just doing my best to get the general shapes. I've immediately gone too big for this page. That's okay.
I'm very much focusing on just one part of
Yeah.
the whole thing.
It's like the thing to remember when you're doing sketches like this is it's really intimidating because you're like, oh, it's gonna be terrible. There's no way I can sketch in like 2 minutes. But we're not trying to do like a masterpiece. This isn't a finished project. This is just an exercise to practice sketching. And then eventually, the more you do, you will have many masterpieces if you practice enough. I have yet to reach that stage, but I've seen people do it. Yeah, so focusing on the most basic lines, the general essence of it, I guess. So I block the still life. And pencils up. So this is what I got in 2 minutes.
This is what I got. I'm ashamed, guys.
Oh gosh, stop. No, it looks nice. I love I mean, we can tell you, oh my gosh, I need to get this timer to stop. You can tell you draw plants, I think, because they look very like curvy and lovely.
Oh, thank you.
You don't have to share yours, but you want to.
That's okay.
This is
really
yours.
get everything.
Yeah. Well, how often do you do sketching?
Not.
Yeah. So that's interesting because I used to do a lot of sketching, so I have. It's like worse to say. I have lots of experience as I draw this. But yeah, it depends. Again, this is a 2-minute drawing. No one's drawing a masterpiece in 2 minutes.
Well, I have lots of experience with charcoal.
Oh, I should have got charcoal. Charcoal's fun. It scares me sometimes though. I guess we have the soft pastels. If anyone wants to immediately go to that. Okay, so next, I think we're gonna do non-dominant hand.
Oh, Lord.
Oh boy.
And anyone who's ambidextrous, they can just take a moment to ponder why they're so talented and think about that for a moment. I'm gonna flip my page upside down. Okay, this is gonna be
Oh yeah.
awful. Okay, I'll time this again too so we don't go wild, but I'll give us 5 minutes. Again, this isn't our final drawing, so it's not something worth stressing over. Okay, and start. Drawing with my non-dominant hand actually sometimes ends up being my favorite drawings.
That's beautiful.
Not sure about this here today. Especially because I am holding my paper while I draw. Let me angle the camera down a little more so I can rest on the table. And of course you don't have nearly as much control with your non-dominant hand. But that's almost makes it more relaxing because you're like, I'm just going wild. I don't know if that's just me.
This is wild for Ollie, by the way.
I'm going crazy. This is why my family calls me grandma.
Yeah.
Going crazy, drawing with my left hand.
Feels so unnatural.
It does. I've actually practiced with my left hand, but my left hand is like, I'm like negative and ambidextrous. I could not be less skilled with my left hand.
Oh, I can't do this.
But if you spend a long time on a left-handed drawing, they can be pretty good given the right circumstance. Because that was something we'd often do in my figure drawing class, and some of the drawings are actually my favorites.
Wow. I actually got the flowers in it with
Yes.
even though that's okay. Wow. This beautiful like ostrich egg, courtesy of Studio Central. All the fun things are from Studio Central, of course. Well, obviously besides the dinosaur and the pot. My thought process is just kind of like get the main shapes in, and then everything around it can be kind of scribbly. Sometimes when sketching, it's nice to pick and choose the details you deem important, and then it can draw attention to the parts you want to focus on. And that's a valid technique that also saves time. See, hearing me talk, it's like stream of consciousness.
Stream of consciousness and very soothing. Do we not agree? Yes.
That's what that was. I was like, I don't have the voice for radio, but I do have the voice
You have
for
voice
those
for ED
sleep podcasts.
Yes. Hello and welcome to Ollie's Corner.
Welcome. Please
Exactly.
feel free to either draw along or fall asleep. It's up to you. Whatever's more relaxing in this moment.
Okay, so I have not made room for some of the things.
That is all right. The time always feels longer than I think it's going to be. Even though I'm clearly like need more time.
This is interesting because I'm overlapping it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I needed to sharpen my pencil.
At the pace I did it, I've run out, or I have too much time to like, not enough time to fix it, but too much time to keep adding.
Adding stuff? Yeah.
So it's just getting more and more jumbled.
Wow.
That's why I love drawing exercises though. It's like you just don't have to worry about doing it well, because it's just practice. Not that you have to worry ever when doing art, but I think especially when you're doing weird exercises that are just meant to challenge you and not create, what am I saying? I've lost the end of my sentence. I don't remember how I started.
We forgive. We forgive you.
I'm distracted. I'm drawing.
Multitasking.
Oh, time's up. Let me turn off the timer.
Well, this looks like a sad little pot.
Okay.
Yours looks so good.
Let's.
I don't know about that.
No, it looks great.
It's
For
like,
left
I know
hand.
what it is. I know
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
what it is.
Do you wanna? Ooh,
Hey,
yours
guys.
is so expressive.
It's the bottom.
Oh, wow.
That's beautiful.
You got part of what I didn't get.
Thank you. It's a little messy, but we trying out here.
Okay, so the last one we're gonna do.
What about yours?
Oh, well, I showed mine. Mine was in the camera.
Oh.
It's fun. I don't know. No words, no comments.
I was in the writing club in high school. Didn't write a single word, but I was in the writing club, and the rule they had was no preambles. So you can't say, I worked on this, but blah, 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 blah. It's not very good.
You
It's
just
just
have
like
to
you
do
just
it.
go into it and then...
No excuses.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the last exercise we'll do is, it's called blind contour. So we'll draw it without looking at the page. We can look at the subject, but not the page. So this is always interesting. It's hard to give up control like that in a weird way.
Are we drawing in one of these squares or a whole page?
Yeah, well, I kind of used up my whole page on these two, which in its way is its own fun thing, but I'm gonna flip it over because I don't have space. Almost went for my left hand, but I didn't pay attention to what pencils I gave everyone.
How many minutes is for this one?
Let's do 5 minutes again.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
So it's just gonna be way worse with 5 minutes because you're gonna want to look back and fix things, but
You can't.
you can't.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna use my periffs. Just kidding.
So this is the real challenge. Okay. I would say, like, thinking of techniques, you want to start at one side and move to the other because you can't go back easily. Right?
Okay. That's good advice.
Yeah. Okay. I guess, I'll set the timer. Like, what are we waiting for? Okay. And go. You have to, like, feel track it with your eyes and have your hand follow what your eyes are seeing. It's so hard not to peek, though. I can't even peek in the camera. No. Only the people watching can see what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of drawing is less to do with, I mean, obviously it has to do with drawing, but a lot of it is to do with observation. In terms of realism. You do it stylistically, then it is about fun. No, it's about whatever you want it to be. More ramblings.
More ramblings from Ollie. I'm gonna write a book.
No, should write a stream of consciousness book.
This is so hard.
I know it's gonna be crazy.
Oh, I've also done fine contour like portraits before.
I'm doing it with my wrong hand.
Extra challenge.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, is that your dominant hand?
This is not my dominant hand.
See, I thought I almost did that. You actually did that.
I'm embarrassed now.
That's funny. Not something to be embarrassed about. It's amusing though.
I just did double the word.
Double challenge. Yeah, we're gonna do another extra 4th challenge, and we're gonna do all of them at once.
Yes.
2 minutes blind, non-dominant hand.
Blindfolded?
Yeah, you can't even look at the reference. You have to drop a memory entirely.
Oh my goodness.
We're not actually doing that.
It's okay.
Unless you want to.
I just think the more that people do this, the more you get better at something, right?
Yeah.
It's repetition. So I think I'm done.
I think I'm done too. Because I can't go back.
Right?
There's still 2 minutes left though.
Oh my goodness.
I'm giving up.
Dinosaur.
Look at my dinosaur. He's got a little tiny head.
I can't believe you can totally see where my dinosaur, guys. I'm just gonna circle it. Because, You're not gonna see it unless I circle
Look at my
it.
dinosaur.
Oh,
My dinosaur has a tiny head and a massive tail.
this is my
Wow, that's
dinosaur.
really good.
I did it with my left hand without looking at the paper.
Here, bring it closer. This is a masterpiece.
Wow.
Honestly,
Lost.
it's beautiful in its own way.
Lost.
He looks like a duck.
Right? It's staring at me.
The nice thing I think about it is that you don't overthink it. Like, it's hard to do kind of the random craziness, like, because people tend to want to do, like, make things proper and clean and orderly, versus when you don't have the opportunity to do that, it ends up being this wild mess in, like, the best way. Although, if you show Leona's,
Oh, yes.
it's impressively clean.
But my dinosaur looks like a duck.
I wouldn't say that.
Kind of duckish.
It looks like something. I don't know why.
Proportion is not there.
I'm just amused by the tiny little head on mine.
I love it.
It is cute. Yours looks like something.
Yeah. I have 2 feet at least. My tail is crossing.
It's
so-
borderline.
That's like pretty well.
It's borderline better than my other ones, though. Which I choose to believe means that the exercise is working and we're observing better.
Yeah.
Okay, so then if we're all done with exercises, unless anyone wants to do another one, I'll take suggestions. We're gonna do some actual drawing. Not actual drawing, that was actual drawing. We're gonna do a more finished piece. And by finished, I mean a piece we spend more time on.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I'm gonna try to go through the process of like what I would think while trying to kind of set up this on a page, especially. So I'm gonna do it horizontally because from
There's
my
a lot of
yeah,
stuff.
there's a lot of stuff. From this angle, it looks more horizontal. So I think the easiest way to do it is to start by breaking down the shapes. So, I mean, everyone sketches differently. Like, I do often just go straight into it, but for the sake of this kind of practice, I'm gonna go in with the shapes of starting with the egg because it's a circle, and well, it's not a circle, it's an oval, and we all know what that shape is. And then, of course, the little basket it is in is a cylinder. Hopefully you can see what's actually happening. I think so. I grabbed us darker pencils. Normally I like light pencils, but I decided that we should see it on the camera. So then
Oh, I made this angle really big.
I'm gonna use kind of what I learned from the blind contour and like start at one point and kind of use that as reference.
Oops. This book is so big, it's like the full page.
Right? I did the same thing.
I love sketching. It's so calming. I'm gonna pan over to Abby's. Actually, you can kind of see it in the background. You can see both of us working. This is a good angle. Yeah, you go straight in, like drawing it with like confident lines, which looks beautiful.
I'm heavy-handed. Always have been.
That's not a bad thing. I'm the opposite, because I've always had trouble like doing it like intense enough to be like finished and visible. I remember in like 4th grade we did this assignment where we like colored in hockey masks. I put guinea pigs on mine. Just for
Oh yeah,
reference.
you did.
Um,
I'm a
but I
fan.
remember looking at them all on the on the wall, and everyone's just all dark, and mine looked like it wasn't colored in at all because I was too light with it.
Oh, that's so sweet though. That's like a certain type of child.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely. I was very. Were you ever the art kid? Like,
No, I actually didn't start doing art until 5 years ago.
oh, that's interesting. Because I was one of the art kids, and I always like, you know, you look back at old art and you're like, how? And I'm like, I know everyone at the time was like rough because you're like 5, but at the same time, like, I was not much better than anyone else, but somehow you get branded the art kid.
Because you're arty. I was the vocalist kid. I really was focused on choir and acting and being loud. I was a rowdy.
That's fun too.
Probably the kid that people were like, shut up, Abby. We're trying to learn.
I feel like everyone loves that kid though.
Wow. I feel like I'm not doing it big enough.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest kid person, but like when I like have worked with kids and stuff, I'm always like, remember, there's no bad kids.
There are no bad
Because
kids.
it's true,
There's
but
just
it's-
different types of babies.
It's hard to remember sometimes.
Yeah.
No, I actually haven't dealt with like a lot of challenging kids, but I don't know. I lost my ability of patience apparently, because I like working with adults now.
I'm a super aunt. I'm like, let's hang out, kids. Let's do stuff. You know? Always have been. Loved the babies.
Okay. I like that I said start with the shapes, and I immediately did not start with any shapes.
Did you not?
I did. Well, I started with one shape, and then I just started drawing everything else. So the dinosaur's head is an oval, and his body is another oval. And you attach them. And the nice thing about doing it that way is it kind of helps you remember how to draw it in the future without a reference. Because you just have to remember the basic shapes and then use those to build the whole form. I swear, my blind contour drawing of the dinosaur was the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Can't recreate it.
Can't recreate that type of magic, man.
Exactly. Glad we caught it on camera. The corn husk.
Wow, my portion here is way off. That's okay.
Sometimes also, when you're sketching something, it's not about getting the realism, but capturing kind of how you see it. So
Or
if
the
you,
vibe,
yeah,
right?
if you want to like emphasize like movement, you can have more like scribbly lines.
The eraser.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I kind of forgot we had erasers.
That it was even an option.
There's an option. It's not an option apparently. Not anymore. Okay, so now I have the basic shapes down. Kind of general forms. Then this is when I'd go in with more detail.
I'm so focused on the can of flowers.
That is definitely the most detailed part of this. And very challenging. I remember in 4th grade when we were doing sketching, I don't know why.
In 4th grade.
In 4th grade we were doing sketching, and everyone was sketching a basketball or a random ball. And I don't know why I did this. I sketched a potted plant.
Yes, you did. You special little human, you.
I don't know if we were supposed to. If I was supposed to, but I did. Oh, crap. raining in the background.
It's okay.
Don't
It's a
worry, it's
marathon.
focused. That was a moment to contemplate the art I've done so far.
Looks like a loaf of bread. The first one.
Oh. Another exercise I considered having us do was, which obviously doesn't work when you're doing from actual still life, but was drawing upside down. Because I guess like you're supposed to draw better when you like don't assume what things are, because we kind of have this idea in our head of like what a dinosaur should look like, what an egg should look. I hope you know what an egg looks like.
Something like this.
So it kind of stops you from assuming. I think it's always good to change up how you sketch. Like I know right now I'm kind of falling to my default where I tend to use a lot of lines. But it's nice occasionally to go, okay, I'm not going to use lines at all this time. I'm just only going to shade and do larger spaces of sketches. Sketches? That didn't make quite...
Sketchies?
That didn't make quite sense. If you've met me in person, you know.
would understand
you
she's
know.
an intellect.
That's it. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
You get it. You know, sometimes the order of words just doesn't like to come out. Well, that's not right either. My brain is jumbled.
What's the other way?
Now, the piece of paper, folded piece of paper confounded me.
Oh, I
So we just
forgot
have a
about that.
jiggle, basically, in the corner.
Yeah, that's hard to look at because it's like, I guess I'll zoom up to it. It's a very detailed piece, but I'm gonna try my best to dissect it into triangles. And
That's a good idea.
it's very easy to lose track though. If it doesn't work out, I'll just...
Mine has no rhyme or reason.
I just recently went on a marathon and watched all of Jurassic Park. All the Jurassic. So this is good. There's a dinosaur. And
You've been studying.
I've been
Yeah.
studying the real thing. Well,
The real
thing
thing.
is.
The kind of as real as you get.
Exactly. Wow.
I mean, it's far from perfect, but it has some semblance of... I think I just crunched it a little too much. Besides that, I think I got the general form of the paper.
I do not know how to do hands.
Oh, hands are so difficult. In fact, on all my paintings, if you go through them,
Yeah.
I'm hiding them. It's always like just out of frame,
Classic.
just behind the hip. You know?
Yeah.
There's only one showing and I worked on it for so long.
If you're an artist and you
Look at my
haven't done that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the fun thing about drawing dinosaurs is we know how...
Because we know how. We know how.
We know how dinosaur. We don't have like we have proof of this like skeletal fossils, which we can like extrapolate information about the form of them, but we don't have proof exactly what they were like.
Mhm.
So maybe the skin on top was absolutely wild.
Absolutely true. Like how
Yeah.
they very much think that there's feathers involved more
Yeah.
than we originally thought.
But yeah, there's no way to like fully know that. just with bones. So I don't know how they figured it out. I don't know. Go ask your local paleontologist.
Yes.
Oh, there's Ray. Oh wait, did I say that out loud?
I like the egg in the basket because it is the only part of this drawing I'm not struggling with.
Yes.
It's reliable, safe.
I did not leave enough room for my dinosaur. So he's squished.
I also somewhat change up like how I do lines a little bit based on what I'm drawing. So the corn husk, I'm kind of giving more straight, jagged lines because it's more straight and jagged. Who'd have thought of that? My English vocabulary is just going down and down.
You're not doing as poorly as you think you are.
I'm using up all my words for the day.
Yes.
Are you?
This is all she gets.
Yeah, this is all I got.
I'm sure you can have more.
Like the thing is, I don't mind doing this, but I just need people to know that my mind is not on the drawing, my mind is not on the talking, it's nowhere. I'm having fun though. That's what this is really about.
That is what it's really about. Art is about expression and fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's grounding. Right? It's therapeutic.
I love drawing just like from any sort of reference. It makes me, it's nice because like I don't have to be worried about like what I'm drawing and figuring out like, oh no, like is this accurate? Am I like getting the pose right? Is this composition gonna be good? Because you're just drawing what you see. And like, sure, it's not always 100% accurate, but you're just doing your best. So you can kind of see in the drawing that my lines are sort of blending together a little bit, so it's harder to see the different forms. So what I'm going to do is go in and kind of add some darker outlines. Also entirely forgot that we had soft pastels.
I didn't. I'm like, woohoo!
I think this is my first official dinosaur.
I like
It looks good. Can I show it on camera?
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming along. Oh, it's so cute.
His feet.
I love also seeing the different angles. Like for some reason in my head I like, oh, everyone's drawing the same thing. But no, we're like your dinosaur is such a different angle from mine.
Yeah, man. I'm having some struggles with him, but love him anyways. Naming him Bernie.
I gave myself the best angle.
That was my grandfather's name.
Was it?
Yeah, my mom's dad, Bernie Belinsky.
Oh, that's a name.
Yeah. I'm multicultural in my family, as we all are.
Yeah, we're pretty multicultural in mine too. We're a rainbow family for sure. My mom said when we went out to grocery stores, we looked like a daycare.
See, love comes in all forms.
Yes.
when I was originally picking stuff for the still life, I kind of went for things that I was very, very drawn to, and of course it was very beige.
Very big.
So I switched the flower pot so it's slightly less dead. I think this is nicer.
It's very vibrant. Look at the red book and everything.
Exactly. Although if you ever feel like coming down to Studio Central to sketch some random things, we have lots of things.
Oh, we've got many things to use.
And also, if we don't have things, we have ideas.
Yes.
We have words. And don't we also have words in a bin or something?
Yeah. We have like various tools you can use, whether it's visuals or books,
yeah.
or
People.
yes.
Wow. I don't even know what that is on that orange.
Over here?
Yeah, no, those are cherries, but next to it.
No idea.
I remember one year I did a costume for someone, and it was a Smarties box.
Oh, cool.
And the front was the Smarties box, the back was all the ingredients, like, you know, the whole breakdown, the calories, the sugar, everything.
Yeah.
That was fun to make.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I'm doing a very messy coloring job, but it's just to get the vibes.
I am deciding that this composition is like the egg is the king and the king is on its throne. And then everyone here is just like there to worship the egg.
The egg.
Yay, oh, egg.
Like the dinosaurs, the egg's like animal companion. And the corn husk is the protector.
Oh, you're getting into it.
Mm-hmm.
Write
It's a
me
story.
a novel.
It's a story. Okay. I think I'm ready to try to add some color with these soft
Open the
pastels.
box and put them out instead of just struggling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to share a box or do you want to
Yeah.
start with
Just
the
like
corn
it's
husk?
kindergarten, man.
Right?
So give a peek again at the composition and then peek back at the drawing. Right? If you're here, feel free to comment how alike you think it is. Does this look like how you see it?
Not at all.
Everyone sees the world differently. I like the way it blends together with the pencil. It does the shading for me. Yeah. After all our lives and workshops with oil pastels, I decided that they are my mortal enemy.
And a chalk pastel might be a little more forgiving.
Yeah, it's safer. Less oppositional. I am going to see, the fun thing about drawing too is you don't have to do it 100% accurately, and that's like the joy of it, because there's a lot of colors here, but I can like reduce the amount of colors and make it into kind of a more paleted drawing. So personally, I'm starting with kind of base colors shader with
I'm making mine pretty schmeary.
gonna zoom over a little bit. You draw very what's the word? Very boldly.
Aggressively.
I was gonna say boldly,
I appreciate.
but it shows in your work in a nice way because it has very confident lines and very like flowing lines.
Oh, thank you.
Versus
The very first piece I saw of yours was that door. That door. It was a big piece. It looked like a door.
Oh yeah, and it's got like an electric orange woman on it.
Yeah. I was like, that is so cool.
Oh, thanks, man.
I feel like, I mean, everyone can get better at every art style, but I feel like people kind of have a natural thing that comes to them. So no matter your skill level, it kind of has your thing. Because I've like fought against mine for a while before I learned to work with it instead of against it.
I feel you. I wanted to be a delicate painter.
I always wanted to be like a super detailed, like clean artist, but not in the nature. And it's a lot more relaxing when you kind of just
Lean into what you are. Your own natural gifts and shit. I mean, and things.
I didn't say that, did I? I'll start speaking Gaelic. Okay.
That I said I was gonna add more of a palette, and then I'm just adding all the colors.
Yes.
It's my favorite color palette, rainbow. It's also a specific talent to like know how to simplify in a like efficient way, where like know how to add less details but still have the
The main idea
Yeah.
represented. I think so too. I think you are very strong in that.
well, thank you. Again, like you instinctively, like I always wanted to do, not instinctively, but I always wanted to do kind of more clean drawings with a lot of details. But I've learned for me it works best to just do more in my style. Oops. Don't do that. Forget you can't wipe off chalk pastels. I've learned to kind of use a more simplified thing to make it work. If you need any of the colors I've hoarded over here, let me know.
No worries.
So I started
Yes.
Your head's cold.
I started with the base colors. Now I'm going to go in a little bit with kind of more shading and dimension on things. Blending stuff out. And here I'm going to shade in with some white, which might look weird, but then when you add another color to it, it won't be as intense, hopefully.
You sound like Bob
Hopefully.
Ross.
Oh, I'm the next Bob Ross.
I'm gonna write a rap song about that.
That's the dream. Oh, Bob Ross's energy,
Yeah.
the squirrels.
The squirrels.
That's the dream.
I don't know where this is going. There we go.
There's not enough, like, or at least it doesn't get
Oh,
enough
I gave it
attention
the wrong
to,
color.
like,
Damn it.
That's all right.
completely calm, wholesome.
Where's the green? Oh, you got it.
Oh, she's got it.
No, there's other browns. These are cool colors too.
See, and I'm just smudging it around. You know, maybe it doesn't look intentional, but when you like emphasize it, it looks intentional. That's the secret. You mess up, just make it more obvious, and people will think you did it on purpose. That's the pro tip of the day.
Run with it. Run with your
Yeah.
mistakes.
Be very do things boldly. That's my advice for art. That was big for me. Like I said, I always true.
I think any mistake can be just something that can be turned into something else. Does that make sense what I just said?
Yes.
Like it's not necessarily a mistake. Maybe in our eyes it's a mistake, but it can always be turned around.
An opportunity.
Sure. Yes. Yeah. So,
It all depends on how you like perceive it, right?
absolutely.
So like things don't have to be a problem unless
You make them so.
unless you want them to be. Not
I
want.
need to,
That's the wrong word.
ask if that's a real egg.
It is.
Yes.
Really?
That is exactly what an emu egg looks like.
It has been
Do
the
you
yolk
know
room.
that emus won't attack children
Really?
like they attack adults? So when I was younger, we used to have to go get the eggs for the emu farmer
Oh my gosh.
because they're very aggressive birds.
Wow.
And they're like, don't take my egg.
That's wild.
So
I,
we
for
used to
one,
take them all.
am terrified of all birds, especially emus, because they're gigantic.
They're huge and a little bit intimidating.
A little bit?
Yeah.
You could say that.
Same with
And I used to
ostriches.
teal.
Yes.
Ostriches too.
Yeah, they're even bigger than emus. None of that business. And why are you raising them in Manitoba? Is the real question.
Ostriches?
Mhm.
I don't know. Oh, I totally missed that. Wow, I love that. It sounds like you're doing a little.
I'm gonna not attempt the dragon or the dinosaur because he didn't quite fit on my page.
See, I always have trouble with coloring because I just
Doing
prefer doing the sketching. It is not 5 o'clock. That is the timer.
Oh my gosh, where have we
Get
gone?
rid of it! Oh no! Clearly don't know how to use this watch. It is almost 2 o'clock, so we're almost coming to the end here. I guess we can show off what we've done and then keep working a little more off camera if we so choose. So for reference, there's our still life in person. This is where mine ended. It's very colorful. I kind of like it.
There was lots to do.
Yours is beautiful. It looks like it has a lot of depth to it. Like you can tell it's 3D.
Thank you.
If that makes sense.
Oh, I love your, I was gonna say dragon, your dinosaur.
Right his face.
He's like, wow. I'm not done,
Oh
but
wow. The colors on yours are so
except
nice.
I got this one wrong. So
That's why I said the best thing about doing drawing is it doesn't have to be accurate. You can change whatever you want. Okay.
Yeah.
So we will say goodbye, and we'll see you next week. Next Friday, we'll have Kate in.
For
hopefully.
who knows what.
Who
fun.
knows what we have planned, but we'll be here. And we'll finish these maybe off camera if we feel like it. If we feel like posting them, we'll see. If not, we'll just keep. Bye.